Hey guys, and how's it going? A friend of mine put the word out that he wrecked his Volkswagen, it's pretty much totaled, and he needed a driver for the summer, like a a daily driver or something to go get ice cream kind of thing in. And I said, hey, I got that Beetle that I rescued that's been sitting for 30 years. Not quite finished, but you're welcome to that. Should make for a good driver. And he was all over it. So he sent his wheels over, that's those that are already on it, and took it out for a spin. It had, the tires were originally around, it had terrible flat spots. And he took it down the road and it shook all over like crazy. Anyway, it's got an issue that I gotta take care of before we do our trade slash sale. And I'll show you what that is right now. So, we went through, did brakes, did everything, gas tank, all the fuel system, got it up and running, did everything it should. Then you take it down the road. Clutch is good. First gear's a little whiny. Second gear, we get to the and then wait for it. So that at 20 miles an hour is no way, no how gonna be safe for him to even try to go drive. Super Beetles are notorious for having a what do you call it, like a shimmy or shake to it, and this one's no exception. But there's something really wrong with this one. I'll show you what that is, and we're gonna go take care of. It's good in turns. Just can't go straight, that's all. But I thought it was the tires. Let's go take a peek underneath and see what's going on. So what you're looking at, this is the driver's side front tire. That's the front tie rod end. And it probably has a good 3/4 of an inch, half inch to 3/4 of an inch of travel before it's even moving the rod. And if you notice, you can even see the rod on the other end is moving. Let's go check the other side out. And this is the passenger side. I would say pretty much just as bad, if not worse. And again, the inner tie rod, which is a little hard to show, the two inner tie rods are just as bad. So all 4 tie rods are falling out of this thing, giving each wheel about an inch of wobble. And not saying that it's going to cure it, but it sure is not helping things out. So let's get the tires off of it and let's get these out of here. And I have 4 replacements, and we'll throw them in. This is the inner. On that other side is the passenger side. Again, you can see how bad it is. So again, all 4. So we gotta get the cotter pin out of it and get a pickle fork on each side to get it popped off of here. So this car is a 1971, again, 54 years old, and I would say those are original. Sometimes this goes good, sometimes this goes bad. It may spin right off of there, or it may break loose and the thing starts spinning inside itself. So yeah. Don't say anything yet. Don't jinx it. Still have 3 more to do too, so not like we're home free. I'm gonna get the hardware off of all of them. The one on the other side is the hard one, the one over there, inner driver's side, because it's up in the tunnel. And I was saying, so this is the driver's side. That is the key broken in half. It is rusted in there. It does not want to come out either way. And now if you see the hole that we're kind of working in. Yeah. Sometimes We might be better off trying to take the whole assembly out so we could break it here. This is the steering box arm coming down. We could pop it here and get this whole assembly out of here, which we may have to do. I'm going to try picking at that a little bit more, but essentially we want this rod end and one on the other end, and then the other side that we already got the nut off of. But yeah, that's what happens. And there's no good way to get up in there. Like this had a loop on the end of it, and of course you put a pick through it and then you try pulling down on it after you bend the what's left of the other edge out of the way. Rusty old cars. It's like the first warm day. The bikes are buzzing around like bees outside. No, I still didn't get that inner one. I'm procrastinating. Might have to pull that whole assembly. Of course, the hardest one to access doesn't want to do that. And to get them apart, there's something called a pickle fork. They make different sizes. Let's see where mine are hiding. Yeah, some for ball joint, some for tie rod, and there's, you know, get different size tie rod. That's more of a ball joint one. There should be one smaller. Where you hiding? For tie rods. Take both of them. One has a custom bend on the end of it. Oh, don't forget that. And some of you are asking, why do they call it a pickle fork? I have no idea. Now, these will tear up the boots, so it's not like you kind of want to use these for something you're going to reassemble, but if you're going to trash it, not a problem, because the fork will dig in up there. There's another style too that goes underneath and grabs, and it's a bolt that pushes up and pops them. But ball joint feels okay. Upper strut feels all right. And I am going to end up pulling the whole assembly out to get that middle one out. And here's that other style I was talking about. And again, it goes over and you pretty much run the bolt up through the center and it pushes on it out. But it doesn't tear up the boot like the other style does. I wanted to show both kinds. Put a little grease on the tip too, to keep you from killing the threads. You put a little bit of lube up on there. Kind of helps. But almost free. Just got to get the one off the other end. And so get that whole thing out of there. Yeah, it already popped. Snug. This is the one that was fighting us. We'll get it. Probably better off anyway. There's a little bit easier access to everything. So we got one other component up inside, which you got to kind of take apart to be able to see if it's any good. It's called a steering damper. Volkswagens use them, all like a lot of the big trucks do, especially in like the 80s stuff. It's a little sideways shock absorber, and you want to see if there's any play, and it's supposed to have resistance. You know, when that shake starts to happen, it will dampen it out. And so you just unbolt one side of it. There we go. Pull that away, and then, oh, it's gone. It's doing nothing. So that is absolutely wasted. I'm not going to replace that for him. We have a kind of a deal worked out. He's taking the car as is, not being restored. I didn't like the front end, how bad it was as far as the dangerousness of the ends that are bad. But I will do is I'll unbolt the other end of it. Yeah. That is doing absolutely nothing. I don't think I have one either to put up in there. They're probably about 50 bucks maybe new. Yeah, here it is out of the car. It even says steering damper right on it. So it's a replacement. If you ever grab a regular shock on a car and you go to try to push it, it's like, whoa, whoa. And also, even if it has resistance, but it has like that much before you hit resistance, like it moves a little bit, it's shot also, because that's all it is. You know, when the front end's doing the shake, this thing's only probably moving maybe 3/8 of an inch back and forth like crazy. It's not dampening anything, so hence the issue. You can see all the oil pissed out of it, kind of wet. Sometimes the bushing goes too, would be the other part. The damper will be okay, and the bushing's rotted out. It's doing the same thing, rattling around. Same thing on this side. There's the bushing that's still under the front end. And we have the old. There we go with that. We have new. It's got to make the new go on the old. So when you're kind of doing these, you're going to need an alignment, whether you try doing it yourself with a string or whatever. But you want to try to get it close. A couple people do different things. Let me move you over the top. So some people will count threads, how far out the tie rod end is on each end, and then try to put the other ones back in the same condition. Really what you're trying to do is you're trying to get from the center of that to the center of the other one. This one is showing up, I want to say right at about 21 inches. I'm going to write that down. When you put it back together, you want to make sure that the amount of threads on each side are showing. This is like a turnbuckle in the middle, and the threads are opposite of each other. So it's going to get close together or get pushed apart depending on how you turn that. That's how you would align your front end, how you would align your wheels. So let me go get those cleaned up. I still have to get that beat up one off of there, and we can start replacing the ends. Plus also too, you just want to make sure that you got apples to apples, replacing everything, that they look the same, that the diameter and the taper on it is the same from the tie rods. I've seen it before where people have taken them apart, and this is kind of like sloppy in the socket. They didn't get the correct one, they bolt it down anyway, but then over a while that the tie rod knuckle is moving around in the hole that goes in, stop it. And you know, eventually it kind of works its way loose, and possibly, you know, very dangerous. Not using the right stuff. Yeah, that sure wasn't coming out of there. You couldn't get behind it to get these little lips bent back. Stop it. Another thing too I've seen is people have taken them and put it on upside down, where again that the hole has a taper, and they'll put them in backwards. Sometimes even it's the wrong size. They're like, hey, something's wrong. They flip it over and it kind of gets a little bit better fit. Stop it. And they'll bolt it together. See if this will slide out. I was afraid of. You can get one piece out, then it usually creates enough room that you can get the whole thing. I also try not to cut it off, you know what I mean, like that. But you need something that bites and grabs it pretty good. That is just so rusted in there. Alright, so you're kind of standing where I need to be. I'm going to get you out of the way. I'm going to work on this. Again, that's why we're not working on underneath the car. This is what you would have to try to do. Sometimes you can just take, you know, eventually break off as much as you can. You just run a drill bit through it, and as soon as you get a little bit out of the way, then the rest of it just kind of falls out. I think we got a bit of it started. Okay. There we go, that part. And then, like I said, once you get that, now you got enough room. And one side's going to have reverse thread, so you would think normally, like this is the nut, that you would lift up on it to loosen it, but no, it's the other way around. You go like that. Or else you would have no adjustment when you turn the rod when it's installed. That's got to come off the other way anyway. And then this is where sometimes it can suck, where it's seized up inside there. I'll go find out right now. Yep. So we may have to go put some heat. On the other end, generally there's a slit in it. Stop it. There'll be a slit in the center of it. So you can get the collar off of it, and then you can kind of open it up a little bit and shoot some oil in it. But we need to use this piece over again. And we'll see how the sides don't want to come apart. The 801 is more like a collar. It does have a split on it. Kind of cranks down. But I don't think it's even threaded on. I think it's just kind of wedged in there. Something for you to push against. Now you can see there's a little bit of a gap inside. And then, like I said, worst case, you can kind of like get a screwdriver in there or a chisel and open that up a little bit. There, now you can kind of see the taper that's on it. I may want to go move now. Anything out of it. There we go. And the same thing. Loose is tight on this side. We have to use all that hardware over. Good, hopefully. I'm not going to say it. I learned my lesson the first time. I'll go chase the rest of that stuff. I think it was about something like that. Again, we're going to go tweak it to that 21 inches. That one's not having it. You could turn the whole bolt, but the nut is welded to the bolt. I kind of want to save it. Same hardware over. Is it enough? Barely. Still might snap. Let's go see. Once you get the part, I clean it up on a wire wheel. Be fine for the reassembly. And you can shoot as much oil on that as you want. It wasn't going to do anything for this. Because I know. Argue with me. Then we're just going to give her a couple. It's a fine threaded bolt too. Give her a couple of those. Open up. Okay. Like I said, down in there, it's split. And if it doesn't want to come out, you can go back and you can kind of open that up, just like we opened that clamp up. Let's go see what we get. Gonna need the heating and the beating. See if we can get the dirt out of it first. Sometimes it's two, one on each side. I don't think so on this one though. A bit of oil in there really won't hurt anything either. There's be so much rust it's puking out. Just to keep it so that, again, you have to be able to turn this when you're doing the alignment, so you would loosen up both ends and kind of, you know, tweak it in. And then for the future, we also got to wire wheel that bolt, get all the rust off of it, and we'll put that back in. have to open up a little. And something like I said, I'm going to take a tape measure and measure them out and split the difference as far as how many threads are showing. We are at right now. We're at 21. Good. We'll go clamp everything back up and we'll get into the other one. This thing's kind of key too. There's a relief in the rod where this clamp goes, so you can't rotate it around or go too far left or right. It has to line up in that center of that right there. Let's give that a light. Put things together. So it still turns. Yeah, good. That's what I mean about threads on each side being roughly the same. This one probably has a little bit more showing, but you should be within adjustment of that. You just don't want, 21 inches and then have this one run all the way in and that one hanging all the way out. That one was almost all the way in on both sides. That's going to need heat. If it cools off, you'll lose it again. Like I said, this is all original stuff. I want to probably say that steering damper may have been what went bad first. And again, they are inherently known, super beetles, having a super beetle chatter to them. And if that's gone, the tie rod ends are constantly taking that beating, the little shaking back and forth. So I'm not quite sure which one came first. Chicken or the egg kind of thing, but we'll fix the chicken. That's it. There's so many bikes out today. I was thinking about doing the same, still a little bit of like sand on the intersections and stuff. And if people driving cars that are not used to seeing bikes, so we'll give it a little bit of time. Good. Drip a little bit of oil on that one. We'll put that one back together. If you can see, there's the notch right there I was talking about. You have to line up to that, or else you're not going to get the bolt in. Where's the new one? In front of me. Well, we see this one was 19 3/4. Whoops. Dropping my nuts. Which was pretty far in. Let's see. What do you think? What am I going to come up with? There's the tape measure. I'm going to say I'm at 20 right now. At 20, like I said. I'm going to kick the other side in a little. And 19 3/4. Yeah, we still have to be aligned, but at least kind of get us in the window. Very small window where it's going to go. Plus it's spread open a little bit, makes it a little bit harder. That should do it though. The thing I don't like about these, they're using, instead of cotter pin, using jam nuts. And sometimes what the problem is, you go to tighten them up, and then the whole thing starts spinning and it kind of gets wonky. But that's what we got. We can tighten those inners while it's out of the camera. When I'm tightening them up, I kind of watch the socket. I watch the rotation on the socket. You can see where it really starts to slow down. You can feel where you are. You want to put a wrench back on it and get a feel for it, but when you're used to your tool, you know what it does. And while it's out of the car, I'm just going to take a second, take these threads and clean them up with a wire wheel. I'll just make sure the nut still fits on there without having any issues. If so, I'll take like a thread file and clean up the edges. Rather deal with it out here than under the car, you know. And the same thing, like these can start spinning on you. Under there, you got like the nut halfway down and... That's what you want. Anything past the hole, you're not going to go that far anyway. Oh, stop it. This is one of those videos, I tell you. Let's go straighten that steering wheel out. We're just going to kind of eyeball down it real quick, see if there's any kind of rough adjustment we can make. And all I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna look down that brake drum, kind of get right on the flat of it. Let's go get rid of this light, it's probably annoying you. So I am just looking down right where my eyeball goes, flat on that brake drum, where I see the front and the back kind of at the exact same time. I'm looking to see if it's gonna hit the center of that back tire. That one looks decent. And that one looks like it is pointing more towards the middle of the back tire. So this brake drum is out like that, just a hair. I'm gonna take that tie rod and bring it just so it kind of comes in a little bit and points towards the middle of that back tire. And it should get us closer to what it should be. Again, it's not in alignment, but you're kind of doing the best you can, you know, with getting it within the realm. I am going to snug up that hardware just in case, because I don't know who's gonna. I wouldn't want to be responsible for or hurt anybody for, you know, leaving stuff loose. There's another thing that's called bump steer, and really what you're supposed to do is you let the tires down. So right now, kind of look, the tie rod's on a slight bit of an angle uphill. So if you put the weight on this, that tie rod's going to go almost straight, and what that does is it's going to affect the toe as the suspension goes up and down. So generally what you do is you put the tires back on it, you got to roll the car back and forth to get it to sit where it wants to be neutral, and then you kind of tweak it. But again, I just try to get it roughly by eye in place. All right, let me go snug the rest of them. I can get the inners too, and we'll just leave a note on it. And just one last thing, where you're tightening stuff up, you want to make sure that it's not bound, meaning that when you twist it, both knuckles have a little bit of play in them, that you don't have one twist in one direction and another twist the other way where it's in a bind. That's all. Come on down. You can see I just let it down, and the tire, you can see the tire is rolling to the inside. See how this outside lip here is really pulling, because that suspension wants to flatten out, but it has to be able to roll back and forth a little bit to go and do that. And then again, you can still like sight down the rim. You can even see it in the wheel well how, you know, it's sprung upward yet. The tires aren't able to spread, so it's holding the front end up. Let's go roll it back and forth. Tire looks better. Tires out are kind of crappy anyway from whatever its previous alignment. See it chopping on this side and worn here, and it's got more meat on this side. Sometimes, you know, the rim is on it too. You can kind of look better down it. And again, we're going to look for those two lips. Stop it. To line up right about there. The camera's not straight, and it should line up with now the outside of the back tire, because they're both the same width going across. And I don't know if it shows up or not. Where I am and where the camera is it's like right there. And on the other side, let's see what we got. I'm sighting right down it, and I'm right at the outside edge of that tire. You kind of want it towed in a little bit, meaning towed in to the front of the car. You want each wheel facing slightly in, so when you drive, they kind of pull back a little bit and almost be straight. Not all cars, but you know, in general, just a little bit. 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, something like that. Let's go take it for a putt down the back road and see what we get. I do expect it to shudder, because it's not even a steering damper in it. Not that it was doing anything anyway. Runs good though. So it's a car that sat for 30 years. I think it was by the time we got in the second gear it did it. Like, I do expect it to happen, but hopefully not as violent. It's already better. Yeah, we're up to 40 and no issues. Good. Good. I'm glad for that. I didn't want to give it to him. Again, like I said, I sold it to him as is for thousands less than I was going to sell it after I finished some stuff up. And he's a VW guy. He knows them. He races them and all. So it's not like he's not familiar with what they need and all. And he was just looking for a good driver. That rattling here is the convertible top. It's missing the seal up here. It's got a little bit of a shake when it goes over a bounce. Brakes feel good. Yeah, much better. At least it'll be drivable now, you know. And the wheel actually seems pretty straight when we're going on a straightaway. So, but if he puts 2 tires on it, I would definitely suggest getting a toe alignment done. You could do it too with a, I've done it with you take a shower curtain rod, you know, the flexible one that you twist and changes sizes. So you take a shower curtain rod and it's got some spring to it. And you put it on the, say, the back side of the wheels as far up as it can go, even going across. You take a Sharpie and you mark it with a spring part of it goes in and out, and then you push the car backwards till it's in the front about the same distance. And whatever that marker either goes larger or smaller, you can adjust your toe in and out. And you know, pretty good. You can get it pretty exact with that. I had one. I do not know where it ended up, but I've done that before. I've done it, you know, I did Krusty and you know, my buses and stuff. But for this one, I think we're good. Well, the day has come for the car to get picked up. A couple things we want to take care of first, though, is first, that is supposed to be like that. So we're gonna go throw that back in with a good one. He's gonna go load it up on his trailer and go to his happy home.
Well, yeah, about to say, that's like you're tying the car down with it?
No. I used to room car.
You're a redneck.
Looks pretty good. Yep, perfect.
I'm what's getting out. Don't get convertible.
You can back up a little more. And also right to the...
Yeah, keep going. Yep, perfect.
That gives you a little more room. I was gonna cut these back a little more. So I cut the whole back off, and I sectioned it. You know, I sectioned it and I lowered it down because it used to be up here the whole thing.
Yeah, that was good. Much better.
And it's double thick now.
Well, it's good that you put those down there too.
Oh yeah.
Hold it. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get pictures.
Oh, you're already in. You already gotcha. Loading her up.
Oh,
well,
the whole time?
Yeah, especially if it went bad. You know, I definitely wanted to get sure that it was. Well, there's that. See ya.
Take care, thank you.
So I was talking about, we did a sale and a trade. So he did a bunch of Volkswagen, does a bunch of air-cooled racing, you know, on a drag strip kind of thing. And he has a race car built up, and with his race car, he has a spare transmission for that car. And this is the one that is, he was looking to go get rid of. So it comes some spec, it's probably the specs on the gears that are in it. Not quite sure what, you know, different ratios that are in it. And it's built to handle some horsepower. I want to say his car is probably comparable to the engine that I have. And the engine that I have is, we did a video on this probably about, I don't know, 2 months ago, is a 2275cc built Volkswagen engine. And this should be between 160 and 200 horsepower. I didn't have a transmission for it to operate with, but now I do. So between the two of them, I now have something I could put in a Volkswagen and have some fun with, more than a top speed of 65 miles an hour and 60 minutes to get up to that speed. So it worked out. It was a good trade. He's happy with what he got. Again, it was kind of sold as is for him. To him, and he's got more to go pick away on. I took care of a couple of things. He picked up some parts. The steering dampener I showed, I put a fuel pump in it before it left because it was weeping a little bit, and other stuff is going to show up. Again, the car sat for 30 years. There's things that just kind of pop up after you start running it, but for the most part, it's a good base for him to go work with. He had another car, has another car that got in an accident in the front that's going to take a long time to resurrect. So he wanted something he can go kind of fairly quickly get on the road and use this summer. And so that ended up being that. I offered that car to him, saying the fact that it's not done, but it's a good, you know, you're not putting floors in it and rockers and, you know, how to build a motor or anything for it. And he's happy to go have that. It was in his price range. And I'm also happy to get that piece to go along with that engine. Alright guys, with that we're going to go sign off. I know it's kind of a shorter video than normal. I ended up recording 2 videos this week. I'm trying to do stuff in 4K with another camera, like a GoPro type of camera, and we'll see how that makes out, if you ever see it or not. I'm not sure. I gotta learn new software and editing system that can handle 4K, but that is my problem. Alright guys, with that we're going to go sign off. I want to thank you all for hanging out, doing a little bit of wrenching, and we'll get into something else next week. Till then, I'll see you later.